Hedgehogs. They rank really high on the cute list, seriously. And cute is cute, no one's disputing that. But let's move beyond cute. Let's get our hands dirty. No, let's get our brains dirty. Have you ever wondered what else there is to know about this spiky little creature? This is our what, when, how on hedgehogs. Let's do this. This is Groucho, and he's a domesticated hedgehog. I'm wearing the gloves because he's grouchy. First things first, what is a hedgehog? Let's classify him. He is an animal, so his kingdom is Animalia, and they have a vertebrae, so phylum is Chordata. They are endothermic, they have hair, they have live birth, and they nurse their young, so the class is Mammalia. Now this is where it gets really neat. So far we've been able to accurately place him in his groups just by looking at him. So if we're going on that same train of thought, most of us would say, oh, he belongs in the same group as porcupines because he has those quills. However, that's not how classification works. Upon further inspection, you'll find that hedgehog teeth are nothing like rodent teeth. To be in the order Rodentia, you need to have 2 ever-growing top and bottom incisors. Hedgehogs have 36 to 44 sharp, pointed teeth that are much like human teeth. Nothing like ever-growing rodent teeth. This means that he needs to be placed in a different order, Erinaceaforma, which basically means shrew-like animal with a long snout and digging claws. Next we go to family, and the only living family in the order Erinaceaforma is Erinaceidae. These are the hedgehogs we know and love. And now moving on to the genus. Among the 5 genera, we find the most common domesticated hedgehog in Atelorix. This genus has a central part in their front spines. Other not as commonly kept pets are the long-eared hedgehog and the Indian long-eared hedgehog. Our most common household friends are usually a mix between the albiventris, which is the 4-toed, and the Algerian species Algerius. But they're commonly just classified as albiventris. Now, they do have 4 toes in the front, but since they're also smaller than the European hedgehog, they're often just commonly called the African pygmy hedgehog. And we could classify all day long, but look at these amazing adaptations covered in spikes. These modified hairs made of keratin like our hair. They're hard on the outside, they have air pockets on the inside, making them sturdy but lightweight. When they feel threatened, they flex their back muscles, creating this impenetrable force of crisscrossing quills. And then they'll hiss and jump slightly, trying to poke their quills into their attacker's nose or mouth. Unlike porcupines, hedgehogs don't lose their quills into their attacker, and they don't shoot them. Instead, a hedgehog can pull his head and feet against his belly, and a different muscle circles his body, and he can flex it like a drawstring, effectively turning him into a ball of spikes. When a hedgehog is not being threatened, they're going to spend most of their time looking for food. Their nose is incredibly powerful, and it can detect a worm 3 inches underneath the dirt. They're going to dig it up with their little claws and munch it on down with their sharp pointed teeth. And there you have it. That's what a hedgehog is. But where did they come from, and when did they become domesticated? There are many stories that include hedgehogs. Author Beatrix Potter, she brought Miss Tiki Winkle into the hearts of children in Europe and across the world. And Sonic, he made hedgehogs cool. Let's face it, hedgehogs appeal to most everyone. Actually, hedgehogs have been in the evolutionary works for about 25 million years, when their ancestors were gallivanting around Europe and Asia. They've been sharing interactions with humans for thousands of years. The Romans started domesticating them in the 4th century, and they used them in a multitude of ways. One of them includes combing their wool with their spines. They were also farmed and used as a food source in Egypt. And over the centuries of close contact with humans, they became a beloved pet. Wild hedgehogs are loved and hated alike. Some really enjoy having them visit their gardens and cellars because they naturally control the bug population. Others hate them in their gardens because they do like eating the berries too. They are omnivores after all. All right, we've got the what, the where, and the when. Now let's get into the how. How do we provide a happy and healthy life for our domesticated hedgehog? So let's focus on the African pygmy hedgehog, which is what Groucho is. First, you're going to need the right space and environment for your hedgehog. These guys are really bad with cold temperatures, so keep them between 72 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 to 27 degrees Celsius. A large guinea pig cage or other solid bottom enclosure is going to work really well. Shelves are not needed. They don't do well with edges. They just fall right off the edge. You want to cover the bottom of the enclosure with carefresh bedding or shredded paper or aspen, which is what we use. Clean at least once a week. Next, give them something to do all night. Hedgehogs are nocturnal, so they don't want to be awake during the day. So you need to provide them with activities. If you've decided that you want to provide a home for a hedgehog, don't try and change their natural way of life. Hedgehogs are nocturnal. Let them be nocturnal. So toys and furniture are essential to keep them mentally and physically engaged with life. A running wheel is essential. Hedgehogs love to be active. You want to make sure that the running wheel doesn't have holes or gaps while they're running so they can't catch a toe or a leg or a nail. This is a rodent wheel. And now give them some toys to mess around with. They can roll, they can climb on them, they can smell them. Leather is great for chewing and smelling on. Balls and bells are interesting. This is pretty fun to move around. Give them things to just play with. Proper diet is a big one. It can be controversial. A lot of people struggle with it. Providing the right percentages of protein, fat, and fiber can be difficult. You can feed a hedgehog cat kibble if it's the right percentage of protein and fat, but be mindful that the kibble pieces might be too large and hard for their mouth and teeth. We feed, and I recommend Missouri insectivore diet because it's nutritionally sound, and we feed it across the board to the rest of our insectivores. We slightly moisten it and add a mixture of vegetables. Most importantly, you want to provide insects, whether that's live or freeze-dried or frozen. Hedgehogs are considered insectivores. They're also omnivores. They eat a wide variety in the wild, but insects are pretty key for their nutritional health. Many domestic hedgehogs can be picky eaters, and it can be a struggle for their owners to find the right balance of nutrients for them. The key is to provide them a wide variety of foods. That's going to give you a happy, healthy hedgehog. Groucho loves his mealworms. Hedgehogs are solitary animals, so you don't need to provide a buddy, and sometimes housing more than one in the same space can cause distress or even injury if a spine gets in an eye. Bathing is important. It can be done with warm water and a toothbrush. Be sure that he doesn't get too cold after while he naturally dries. Also, nail trimming needs to be done regularly. It can be difficult, so be prepared for that. Be patient with them and persevere. Some hedgehogs enjoy human interaction, some don't. Getting to know the personality of your hedgehog or any animal is the fun and exciting part of sharing your life with them. So here's the hard part. I would not consider these guys a good pet unless you're prepared. They're very difficult to feed, they're difficult to maintain, they're expensive with a short lifespan, they're difficult to cuddle, they're nocturnal, and they're really not that social. With all those difficulties, it leads to a lot of humans getting bored, losing interest, or neglecting them. So my advice is if you're considering a hedgehog as a pet, please research and know what to expect. They really are amazing animals. Thank you guys for joining me and Groucho on this adventure learning all about hedgehogs. If you'd like to go on an adventure with us every week, subscribe, or you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook. Links are below. Welcome back to Animal Wonders. It is officially winter. Fun fact, hedgehogs can carry leprosy, tuberculosis, and shed salmonella. Aren't they the cutest? He's Pokemon. Get it? Get it? No? There's no shame in that.